YouTube pick your music, then I get a strike, please. Good evening, everyone, and happy Christmas, Gossip Talkshows family. It's me and Claudia today, and today we are talking about relationship conflict. So relationship conflict can be very, very frustrating, but you don't have to stress out. On this video, we will show you how to handle conflict in relationships successfully. And also, you have to understand that conflict is inevitable in any relationship. But that does not mean that you have to handle in the wrong way. There is no wrong way. There is no right way. The only thing that you have to know is you cannot handle a relationship one person if a conflict, if there's two people that are involved in conflict. So it means two people have to actually get together and be able to actually solve that conflict. And when conflict arises also in a relationship, it can feel like it's impossible to fix, but that's not the case. We are here to show you how to handle conflict in your relationship successfully. If you are struggling with conflict in a relationship, then this video is for you. We are going to show you how to resolve the conflict and how to actually move forward without anger, move forward with forgiveness and grace. Over to you, Claudia. I know you, when you saw this topic, you wanted to join me tonight. What do you think about the conflict, this topic, in your own words as a coach? What do you think?
I mean, yes, well, it's a very good topic because in the end as well, conflict or the crisis within a relationship, romantic relationship, is going to show up eventually, right? Because we go through different stages within the relationship, and to begin with, it's all about this honeymoon effect, but this at some stage as well, it's going to, just like to change into the next stage. And one of the stages actually is called crisis stage. And this comes soon after the honeymoon effect as well is over. So basically this means that we start to notice as well the differences between us, and just like as well how different we are wired compared to the partner and so on. And this is already could be as well already like the beginning of the very first conflicts in a relationship. Nomsa.
I actually love that. I love that because, like I see conflict as, when you are dancing, let's say you're dancing the tango, you need two people to complete the dance. There is a follow, there is a lead, and there is a follower. The second person not dancing, the woman, she follows her man, and their communication between that dance, when they are dancing, the man actually communicates with their feelings, with the emotions, and when they connect together, they produce a beautiful dance. But when two people are actually arguing, we don't have that, we lose that awareness of focusing on what we are actually arguing. We end up saying things like, let's say we are arguing about Christmas, and then we ended up 2022 Christmas, we ended up arguing about what happened 3 years ago, hurting each other's feelings, or somebody else. Mostly men don't like to argue. Men will be like, you know what, I'm all right, everything is okay. And then I hide the feelings under the cupboard and wishing that we're going to sweep things under the carpet, wishing things will resolve itself. But in the end, they don't. So for me, I have the 7 steps to actually resolve the conflict. One of them is, when it comes to resolving the conflict, step number one is you need to be able to identify the underlining of the issue. If you can't identify that, then you can't move forward in order for you to bring your argument to the other person. And also the second step is come up with a solution of the picture. What is the picture? The second is to come up with a solution that both parties can accept, because if I come up with the thing that I want to win the argument, so the other person, they're not gonna understand it. But if I come up with a solution to say, listen, it's not about winning the argument, and it's all about meeting each other's goals and meeting each other in the middle. And number three is to make sure that we are going to follow through the agreement. Because if we don't follow through the agreement, that means that the conflict is going to be left unresolved. And number three is check with each other's periodically, and making sure that the resolution is proceeding as planned. And the fifth one is adapt to resolution. If things are not working, if the plans are not working, and the other party, you have to leave the other person alone in that moment, and find a way to actually comply with the agreement, or if you need to adjust some things, or if you need to actually come to meet each other in the middle. Because sometimes when we have a conflict, we just see our own way, the right way. The other person's way is not right. And also, number 6, you need to evaluate if it's needed. And if the resolution isn't working as planned, it's very, very important to evaluate everything, and also following the right steps. When you're having a conflict in a relationship with someone, you know that person very well yourself, because you are in that relationship. So you're gonna have to approach them based on their identity, not what you've read in the book, not what you've heard at Ngosi talk shows. You got to look at the person and just do as you and them. A relationship is not based on books. A relationship is not based on when you watch Claudia or Nomsa, then you take that advice. You say, Nomsa said I should do this, and you don't. But some people, they read books and they'll go and do exactly what they've read in the books. Mm-hmm. So you don't do that. You have to look at your relationship. The reason why we read books is to work on ourselves. Why we watching gossip talk shows is to fix ourselves, not to go and have ego. I don't know, Claudia. What do you think?
What you just said as well a few times, it's important in regards to setting ground rules, right? Yeah. How do you communicate as well with each other? Because when it comes to the crisis, and I'm sure they are going to Sharpie, it's just a matter of time. It is as well, it is very handy to have some conflict management skills, something like this. They come very handy. And obviously as well, it's just like some common sense as well. Treat each other with respect and try to understand as well the other person from their point of view. This is a very good tip. So just don't be stubborn, which I tend to be actually. So don't do that. Try actually to go into the other person's shoes and see if you can feel and understand what they say as well. And what I have found as well, I had to learn is as well to say how I feel with something, so something might have happened in the situation as well. My partner have said something or done something. And then in regards to saying you, I changed it around in regards to explaining him how I feel about this certain thing, what has just occurred, because I have, yes, just like this way as well, the man can understand us better when we talk and explain it this way as well. And something as well I learned recently as well in this last relationship is to say as well what it is I need. Because in the end as well, the partner is not a psychic and they can't read our minds. And if we don't say something, and then afterwards we tend to get angry about this specific thing, but we actually haven't said anything previously, how are they supposed to know this? So therefore it is as well our part and very important to say what it is we need right now and how we feel, so that that they just can understand us better. And setting as well some ground rules too is a very good tip. And this is between the couple, obviously. So it could be something, for example, we don't get angry to bed, or we don't get to bed before something is unresolved. So it can be anything. It's between these two people. So, and these can be discussed, obviously, as well, when something happens, an important conversation and so on, just like to finding out what works as well to, that it doesn't have to escalate that much. Namsa, yeah.
I really love that, Claudia, when you say we actually we have to speak to our spouse, because we intend to actually think that the other person should actually know what we want. But if we don't communicate our desires, if we don't tell the other person how we would like to be treated, or it could be conflict like Christmas, where we're going to spend Christmas with the family. You may find the other person want to have a quiet Christmas, and then the other person likes to go and spend Christmas with the other family, and then there is conflict. Like mostly Christmas times, me, I don't mind where I spend Christmas. I'll prefer to spend Christmas at home with my kids, and so I don't have to go, so they can open their Christmas present whenever they want, or have food whenever they want. So that is my preference. But if their dad says, oh no, we're going to spend Christmas at this time there, I don't really mind. I don't see it as a point for me to actually say, but this is what I want. So I'm flexible. I always say to them, I'm really flexible with what you guys do. And so it's nice when somebody communicates, like to say, listen, because when you're with someone, you can't. I've had girlfriends myself, they're like, actually, he did this and he should know that he shouldn't. I'm like, no, he shouldn't, because he is not a psychic, and he can't know what you want. He cannot know. Sometimes he gets maybe the wrong present on the birthdays or Christmas, and then he has to be crucified, or the woman or the man actually gets the wrong present for their woman, or a woman gets the wrong present for a man, and the man doesn't explain that this is what I want. So for me, I'm very, very straightforward. On my birthday, if there is something that I want, I go online. I tell my children, if you want to buy me a present, this is what you want to buy. You can get me. It doesn't matter how much it is, or £5 or how much, but this is what I want because it's special to me. So you can go and get that. And I tell their dad that if you want to get me a present, can I have your card? So I will go, tell me the limit, how much I need to spend. And I just go and just save myself. In that way, you get to, it's very, very, very important to actually communicate what you really want. But we expect people to actually think for us. and say, no, Nomsa likes this, Nomsa likes this. If they get it wrong, they get crucified. It's like family relationship. When we are talking about relationship as well, it's like siblings or parents. Me, I like to communicate. I like to let people know, but I wasn't always like that. It's not an easy thing to do. So, Claudia, what do you think if there is someone who struggles with the communications? What advice can you give that person? So where can they start? For me, I realized that communication was destroying relationships. So there's something that I did in order for me to be able to communicate my want, to communicate my world, so that the other person really understand. My world is crazy. It's not an easy world to understand. So if I don't communicate it, I get frustrated. So what advice right now, if there's someone at Ngozi Talk Shows who is watching this talk show and they're like, you know what, Claudia, you guys are saying this, but I'm struggling. And you may find like their top managers, people who goes to work, they are like good at communications. But when it comes to relationship intimacy, no.
Yeah. I see what you mean, and having explained it this way, because it was as well something I had to learn too, but looking back as well with me, it was as well in regards to self-worth, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, because if you look at that and work on your self-worth, then you will understand as well that just like it's important as well to say the things you need and you want from the other person, because you're worthy of it. And thinking I would not be worthy of something, then you as well more likely to be quiet and not being able as well to voice the things and to say the things you need. So this is an important factor as well, to be honest, and as well to look at your own self-worth. How far is it? Can you develop it as well a bit more? Because in the end as well, I mean, the truth is that we are all worthy, you know. It's just like, think of a baby, you know, just a baby, newborn baby, and it's just so full of self-love and self-worth. It will tell you when it's happy, it will tell you when it's angry, and so on. But then what happens down the line, we are being told things and we believe the people as well who are telling us things, and then we dim our light, and just makes us a bit, you know, not believing that we are worthy of love as well, you know. But that's just not the truth, you know, because the truth is we are all worthy no matter what. So I'd say as well, look as well a bit, look within you, where is the blockage, where you feel a bit like, yeah, it's just like you can't communicate. What is it as well in you? It could be as well that you've been like, you didn't have this experience within the family and so on, childhood as well, that your parents talked a lot with you, and that were there. They were asking you as well for for your opinion and so on, because in the end as well, communication is very, very, very important. So yeah, just be honest and do some reflection and see where it is within you, because it could be different aspects with all of us. And then I would address it as well. But the thing is as well, communication, absolutely, it is a must. Luckily with my partner, he is divorced, and he didn't have a communication in the marriage, and he says to me always, Claudia, it's something which went wrong in my last marriage, and this is why it's important for me. So I put it actually easy that he is already trying to do things differently than he had it in the past experience, which is fantastic. Yeah, so actually he is leading us in regards to communication. Yeah, that it's important as well to talk about stuff and not to bottle it up. So actually he taught me that, my partner. How did you learn that about communication? Nomsa?
I had to actually, learning about communications, I had to actually take Paul McKenna's program. The reason why I took his program, I was good at things like, I would just, my mindset, I would just think or get a job that I want. I'm good at researching and good at things, and I get a job when somebody treats me really bad. I wouldn't want to hurt their feelings. I just let them get away, make excuses for them. Or if I enter a relationship, I'll find it hard to actually communicate my want and communicate my needs. I'll make excuses for that person. They're doing this because of this. Or sometimes on my birthday, if there are places where I need to go and someone comes and suggests, I want to take you there, then I'll end up getting frustrated. And then I realize, like, why you're saying that. As a child, we learn to talk, and then we have to learn to do things, and we get good at those things. So I took Paul McKenna's programs, and I made my priority to I was ready to change. First, I went to 5 psychologists and trying to find out why I was so frustrated. I look at myself as a child, and I look at myself as an adult. Then I was 24, 25. I was so frustrated and miserable. I came to the UK for a better life, but that better life, it became a frustration. And there was that inner child that was crying inside. So I know there are some people that relate to me. When you are not happy, you're frustrated. No matter how happy you are, even if somebody can get you a 3,000 present or 50 grand present, if you are not happy inside, that present is not going to make you happy, because happiness is found within. So I realized that actually I wasn't happy. And in order for me to be happy, I had to understand the 3 C's. The 3 C's stands for, number 1, it stands for communication. It stands for conflict, and the consequence. Communication also is the first thing to resolve the problem. If you want to resolve problem, you have to understand. To communicate with someone, you have to understand what does it mean to enter a relationship. When you enter a relationship, you enter to serve someone. It's like I had to understand when I meet someone with an attitude of, how can I serve you? And then the other person, if I have an attitude of, how can I serve you as a man, as a queen, and the king will be like, this is who Nomsa, this is me, this is how I would like you to be treated. And if you understand my needs and my want, and I would love to know your needs, and then we enter in this love world and the spirit of love, and then we connect together. Once we connect, we relate to each other, we tell each other our past, but not the painful stuff that can wound someone. We tell each other our past, our laughing mistakes that we've made, and what made us be here, without actually persecuting our exes. We talk about us. I talk about myself. This is who I was, and this is what let me meet you, be here today. And the king will be like, I'm so glad, so you didn't know how to communicate. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to meet you. And I'm so glad you were not able to understand how to resolve conflict, and you wouldn't understand the consequences of. If you don't understand to communicate your want, if you don't understand to resolve conflict, there are consequences. And so that's why you end up meeting the other person. And then in that place, we start relating to each other. That's when we connect. And when we connect in that moment, that's when we actually learn to actually be clear of how we are going to communicate moving forward. Being honest with our feelings and being honest with what we want, and being able to understand each other's perspective and being willing to listen to each other. And that helps as well. And being able to discuss the problems, what are the cause of this conflict, and coming up with potential solutions without having to blame the other person, and also be willing to actually compromise and be willing to work together. Because at the end of the day, like when you are willing to compromise, it means I'm going to tell you what I want, but at the same time, we're going to work together, we can do things together. And but you still have to understand that I still need my me time. I still need to hang out with my girlfriends. Hanging out with my girlfriends is normal. So, or boyfriends or whatever, if you have male friends, it's okay to have male friends, as long as you're not having them to prove a point. There are some people that have male friends to actually to prove a point or to make their spouse jealousy. I've never had girlfriends myself. I've always had male friends. I started having male girlfriends when I had my first daughter. Simply for one reason. I do not like to actually get involved in the fighting. Men are very, very simple creatures. Women, we complicate things where there is no complication. I don't know with you, Claudia. You know, if I have a problem, if I ask a man, they'll be honest with me and tell if I'm wrong. They're not going to make me feel better. They're just going to be honest with me and say, Nomsa, you need to sort it out. You're wrong. And try. They're not going to tell me that I'm wrong. And they'll be like, you need to be honest and just do things, get on with it. But with girls, we try to complicate things and stuff. So I've never really, even when I played football, I just hang out with the boys, the football players, and just teach me what you know. I don't like the talking beat, the talking part where we gossip and we sit down. That's the creature that I am. And I was raised by two men. So I know that I'm not perfect. So with girls, you have to be so perfect. If Claudia does not turn up to my birthday, who does she really think she is? She did not turn up on my birthday, so I'm going to crucify Claudia. But if a man is having a birthday and I'm busy, I'll be like, I take you out on this day. Do you mind? And you're like, sure, Nomsa. Tell me when. I'll be ready for you. You're just going to have to, it's going to cost you. They are very, very simple creatures. Sorry, girls. Men are very, very, very simple. So that's what I like. And also I've learned that I need to actually, if I'm not happy, I tell my spouse that I'm not happy. But I've learned, because I meditate so much and I pray so much now, I'm kind of, if I'm not happy, I like to find out first why I'm not happy, because that means there's something within me that is triggering that. So it means I have to fast maybe for 1 day or 3 days, just to find out why I'm feeling that way. So you may find that sometimes it has nothing to do with my spouse, and there's something that is there that is making me feel that way, but is triggering me when my spouse says something or they do something. So it's triggering that. So I'll be thinking that actually he's done it. He's making me feel that way, but it's got nothing to do with him. So I don't do conflicts anymore. And if I'm not happy with something, or if someone is not happy, I'm learning to surrender. If someone tells me, no, I'm not happy with you, I don't go and say, no, you should be happy. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. How can I make it better? And that's all I do now. How can I make it better? Because I don't know with you, Claudia.
Yeah. How can I make it better? Because in the end as well, we can see conflicts, and we can see them as well as a way to learn and to grow, right? Yeah. If we change it and see it this way, it's fantastic, because then we can sit down, talk about it, and as well, it's important to focus on the solution, right? Not just the talk. Actually, here it comes handy as well to talk with the spouse, because I believe as well they are a bit more simple and more coming to the point than some of the women. They like to talk. So just like solution focused as well. Absolutely. This is the communication ideally, and then you can go ahead and take the conflict or the challenge, whatever it is, and turn it into like an opportunity. And what I have found as well, to when the things come up in the relationship, it's a way as well that you can see the other person in a new light again, right, Nomsa? Something happens in the relationship and they totally change like the perspective where you put them in, because you have not had this before. So this is as well fascinating, I find. Just like a way to rediscover as well the other person again. Have you found that too? Just like something happens and you are like, wow, I didn't see that before in you.
Very, very important to actually, when you work on yourself and also try to get to know the other person as well when you are in a relationship, and also be willing to work together with your spouse. And when you work together and understand that no one is perfect as well, because we believe that when we date other people, they should be perfect and they should understand us. But if we were to spend our time trying to actually help the other person understand who we are and making sure that when we resolve this conflict, everything is resolved fair and acquaintable for both parties, it makes things better. And if everyone is happy with an outcome, it makes a big, big difference to both parties. Sometimes when we have a conflict, we believe that we should win the argument. But if you enter the conflict with the mindset of wanting to actually resolve the problem and move forward. And that's why it's very, very important to ask yourself about the intention of whatever, when you are doing something, why am I doing this? What's the outcome that I want to achieve? What do I want to achieve by actually having a conflict with my spouse? Because if the conflict starts, that means there's something that you're not happy with. Or if it's something, sometimes some people, something happens a year ago when they're arguing, it will start again and they will start saying, oh, you did this then, you did this then. And that means that they are holding the arguments instead of speak your own truth. And sometimes it's not easy to actually speak your own truth, but speak your own truth with grace. For me, before I do something, I always make sure that if I'm speaking the truth, if someone is having a conversation with me, I need to be as honest as possible. And at the same time, I need to make sure that I'm not hurting that person, but it's impossible not to hurt the other person, because sometimes when you are having a communication with people intend to receive message, translate the message in a different way than you are actually what you are saying. My spouse is very, very big. He's a giant. So when he stands like at the door, sometimes he comes in and then he will stand at the door like this. And then I'm talking to him and then I will just pass through there and take something. He's busy talking. And like today they were saying with my daughter, we're not happy with you because sometimes when we are talking, you actually push us on the side and go and get what you want. So I was like, but you guys, you always give me away. And they're like, no, you need to say excuse me. I'm like, but even if there's a space for me, because I'm so tiny. So I was like, okay, guys, next time. So I'm just going to be saying, excuse me. So they were like letting me know, like, you just pass through, even when we are standing by the door. I'm like, but you are a giant, you stand by the door and just talk to me. So I go in and I just get what I want and then come and stand where you are. And he's like, say, excuse me. So I was like, okay, I will do that. So it's very, very important to communicate your needs. When you are not communicating your needs, you get so frustrated. When I took Paul McKenna's program, I know Paul McKenna is all about hypnotizer, but I didn't do that part. I did the part, the part where the course How to Mend Your Broken Heart, based on his book, How to Mend Your Broken Heart, and that through that I had to learn how to not to tell lies, because if I'm not happy and I'm making you believe that I'm happy, that means I'm lying to myself. And that means I'm lying to the person that I'm in an intimacy relationship with, or I'm lying to my family. So I had to learn to get rid of lies. So getting rid of lies, it was so amazing, because I've realized that when I actually became an adult, and from a teenager to an adult, I lied to myself, going out with people and dressing, behaving like them, and I was lying to myself. So those are the things that I had to get rid of. And then the second one was jealousy. Looking at within, how do I really feel when I'm single? Looking at someone who is really, really happy in relationship, who is successful in business, is successful in every way in their lives. How would I feel? How do I feel? So I had to work on that. It took me like a year, basically, to understand that we are all different. And we all individual, we all have our dreams, we all are unique in our own way. So I didn't need to be actually jealous of anyone, or even if my spouse is talking to somebody, I needed to be free. And that really, really worked. When I met my spouse, I would just, when I go out, he's good looking when he dances. And the woman goes in and they want to dance with him. And then he will look at me and think that I'm going to rescue him. And I'll be like, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sit there until he excuses himself. And then he realized, actually, and one day he said to me, Nomsa, you are actually genuine. I was like, yeah, I've learned to be me, not to actually worry about things. So those are the things that I've learned. I've learned to communicate myself. I've learned to teach people like how I want to be treated as a human being, not in an ego way. If you let people understand who you are as a person, you will be able to resolve the conflict. And also, if someone says they are not happy, be willing to listen. I don't know what you think with this, Claudia. For me, I believe that if someone tells you that they're not happy, it means that sometimes it means it could be one explanation that they've misunderstood you, or it could be their mind goes on Googling things that don't exist, or it could be you've hurt them, or it could be you haven't done anything to them, but they have their own problems with him. So those are the things that I always wanting to give someone a chance to say. If someone comes to me and say, Nomsa, you've upset me, I'm like, I'm listening. So tell me, how can I make things better? And then if they tell me, because of what I've said, they tell me, oh, Nomsa, you did this. If I realize that actually it comes from their insecurity, so then I have to put it right. by putting it right, that's when I'm going to manipulate and use my psychology to help that person, so they come to a way where they realize actually I didn't hurt them. They actually is themselves that have a problem. And in that way, find a solution to move forward. But if I see that that person is insecure and I can't help them myself, I have to be honest with them. I have to leave that relationship behind, because there is no way that you can fix anyone. If anyone thinks that they can play therapist to someone, we can have a relationship with people, have conflict with people there, but they are conflict that are causing pain. And that pain, it could affect your life, it could affect your mindset, it could affect everything. So you can't solve those kind of things. If I have messed up, I have to clean me. And there is no way that anyone can come into my life and say, Nomsa, I'm going to change you if I'm really, really broken inside. So I just need people to understand that there are some conflict that you can fix, but there are some that you can't, whether you like it or not. I don't know, Claudia, whether you have had clients like that, where you see that they're like trying to fix the other person, but you can't. There's no way. Yeah. For me, if you had met me 11 years ago, and you think you can fix me, I don't think you'd have had. I wasn't difficult to hang out with, but I wouldn't communicate my needs. I just agreed to anything. Honestly, anything. If you say, Nomsa, let's go to Manchester tomorrow, I'll be asking like time off at work and I'll be going to Manchester. I'll be saying yes to everything, honestly.
Yeah, I just remembered as well, as you said, we can't fix everything, right? Yeah. And this is as well not our job, because we are not their therapist, we are not their mother. Obviously, if we choose, we can be this, but I would not want this to be in my relationship. I want to be equal with my partner, because otherwise down the line, it just doesn't feel right as well. So yeah, I'm not their therapist. So yeah, it's just like, depending what it is, I don't want to step into this, I'm their mother therapist energy. So it's just, would not want to do that. So yeah, no. So, no, that's true. Good point. I just remembered actually. And the thing is as well, if someone is not as well in a relationship yet, but dating, what I did when I was dating, every date I chose and I took as an experience for the next one, so I try to learn my lessons, communication, saying what it is I need and so on, just like, so it's just like as well a good experience to practice, within dating until the relationship is there yet, and then just like it makes it everything a bit more easy, because in the end as well, it's just practicing, to speak up, the communication, talking about what it is we need, and so it's just practicing it. At the beginning, it might feel a bit weird, but once we did it a few times, and then it's already done as a habit, and then it feels even normal.
Yeah, it is very, very, very important to actually have a strategy when it comes to your relationship. And also, when you work on yourself as well, the rest comes natural. I don't have to think about how am I going to communicate with somebody. Everything comes natural. And that's why it's important to have some ritual, to have, for those who are Christian, it's important to have a prayer life. If you have a prayer life, you won't be disappointed when it comes to life. And those who love to meditate, I don't know, people have different beliefs. For me, I believe in God. And I know that there's a higher power out there that is bigger than me. And I don't have to worry about anything, or I don't have to live in fear, or I don't have to actually blame myself for my past. I don't have to blame myself for what happened in the past. Or there are some people that they enter relationships and the relationships don't work, and then they blame themselves. Say they find a good person, they will still treating the other person like their exes. So if your relationship in the past hasn't worked, you have to understand that the person that you are dating that moment, they are not your ex, and they will never be your ex. So try to get to know that person. Try to enter the spirit of love, meaning I want to, how can I serve you, my king or my queen? How do you like me to treat you? And that person is able to actually communicate. You know, the first year of that relationship, it should be the first year of everybody getting to know everybody, because there's no pressure and everything. Instead of spending time going to expensive restaurant and ignoring the importance that communicating you want, go for picnic, go have fun. Go for something and do other things where you can have fun and be like children and just have fun, and then go maybe to expensive restaurant, maybe like once a week or twice a week. You'll find that there are some people, when they meet each other, they can't keep hands off each other. They're like all there having fun, kissing and having more sex and having all these. But when it comes to getting to know each other and coming to communicate their want, coming to actually, when it comes to the other person getting to know your world and connecting with you, we don't do all that. We use the fantasy love that we believe, you know what, I'm in love with this person. And then you find that person, if my clients meet somebody today and they tell me, actually, I'm in love with the person for the second date, I'm like, seriously? Oh, okay. Because I understand that love is something that you have to build. And the more you meet somebody, the more you connect with that person, the more you speak to them, the more you actually connect spiritually, physically, the more you connect with that person. So if I meet somebody, the guy, just by looking at them and say, oh, I can't keep my eyes off you, and you make me tingle, you make me like, you know what, I just want to marry you. So I'm like, oh my God. That is not real. For me, I just believe that the first year of a relationship, it should be the time where people connect with each other. And that first year, it shouldn't be the end of it. The second year, think about what happened the first year and keep connecting with each other and keep spending time together with each other and keep connecting. No matter how much you have a conflict with that person, remember how you met them, how they made you smile, how they made you the laugh, how when you look at them, you feel like, and also people intend to be like, just because they are with someone, they don't have to make an effort anymore. They don't have to do this. You still have to make an effort in every way when it comes to relationship. You have to make an effort. Otherwise, there will be conflict. Otherwise, there will be misunderstandings because somebody is not happy. They are like, I don't understand. When I met this person, they were like this, but now they are not. It's because they can't be bothered to make an effort. But still, both parties have to dance the tango.
Yes, yes, yes.
Together, they create the connection.
Yes.
The music, they can feel the music.
Yeah. Well, it's teamwork as well. It's a team effort, right?
Yeah.
Team efforts, and it works only as well like this. It's because when both parties put the same in, it's perfect. You know, there's just one party doing all the work and the other not. It's just not healthy give and take, and it won't really last as well, if it's like this. And something as well I have found in regards to being in love with a partner, you spoke about the first year, absolutely, honeymoon and everything and so on. And if we are lucky as well, we fall in love with the partner too, But then as well, there comes a point as well, then we might fall out of love.
Yes.
And therefore, it is always important to find something to fall over and over in love again with them.
Yes, that is important, yes.
Because the thing is as well, we change, they change, we change, and we are not the same person as when we first got together, because it's just not happening, So therefore as well, it's very important as well to understand that the falling out of love can happen, most likely, but then find something again to fall over in love again with them. So this is it's just like a good tip. Good tip.
And also everything, it comes from within, Claudia. I look at myself, the journey that I have taken through this love business. I'm realizing that the more I work on myself, the more I appreciate the people around me, because we intend to think that we deserve more, we deserve this, why the other person doesn't make an effort. But we don't say that the other person is making an effort. They can't be perfect. They are making an effort in so many ways. It's like Christmas time. I'm off work, my spouse is off work, I get time to do things in the house, and he gets time to entertain the children, he gets time to do this, the little things that we are meant to notice, but we don't. If I wasn't into personal development, I don't think there's little things that my family do for me, I'll be able to actually notice them. And I think it is very, very important for someone, if you are in a relationship with someone, and try to have the gratitude and try to have appreciation. And I always, during the pandemic, there was, I saw on the news, the abuse, it went up a lot. And there were so many people, my friends, I think most all of them went through divorce, separation. And through that year, from 2020, 21 to 22, people like the people that I didn't hang out with during the pandemic because we're not allowed to be with people. And when I met them, they were like, how's the family? And they're like, oh, I hope he is okay. He's no longer with us. So I had to get rid of them. But when I was with my spouse in the house, my mindset was different. It was like, I look at him each and every day and I'll be like, Gary, I'm so grateful that I have my family with me. I'm so grateful that this person is alive. And there was no way that I would say he's annoying me, because the house is big. So you can go to another room if you feel that you don't want to be with someone at that moment, or you feel that they're in your face all the time. But I feel so grateful. So we have to use our mindset. It's very, very, very important. Being in the present moment. When you are having a conflict with someone, stay in that present moment. Forget about what happens a year ago. Forget about how they forgot your birthday. We all make mistakes. Focus on that present, the conflict that is happening in that moment, and solve it based on solving that moment. You may find that maybe the other person might have to go out and cool off, and then come back and resolve the problem. For me, when I'm solving the conflict, I don't like this thing where we're gonna talk and then leave things unresolved, and then it will sweep things under the carpet, hoping that things will sort itself out. They won't. So we have to get into something and find a resolution of have a plan, have a strategy of how we can solve that problem again. Or if my spouse is not happy, tells me that he's not happy, or if the kids, I teach my children as well, if they are not happy, they tell me that, mommy, you're not happy, I need some me time with you. So I have to give them that me time if they feel that they're not happy, because this is what I'm raising them to be. And I always say, if I make a decision and say, this is what you're gonna do, but if you feel that you need to challenge me with that decision, if you feel that you have a case, you need to come forward and tell me that, mommy, I believe that things should be this way and why. And I'll be ready to listen. And with my spouse as well, if there's something that is not happy, I'm happy to listen, because when I'm praying to God, I'm praying to God for God to show me what my life could be. If I'm willing to ask God, show me what my life could be, what my relationship could be better. And if I'm praying and not actually living in the present moment, or not willing to solve the problem, then my relationship is not going to be in a good place. There are some people, they say, I believe in the earth, I believe in God, but they think God is going to be a psychic, God is going to, because he does this miracle, he's going to do the miracle and make the relationship magic. No. God works the mind with the mind. So you actually pray, and he will use your inner being, your mind, for you to get creative and solve the problem. That's what God is for. God is a God of miracle. Or the earth, God created the earth. So the earth is God. So the earth is the earth of miracle. So if you are somebody who believes in the earth, when you tell the earth that I have a problem, the earth is there to actually work with your inner being, because the earth is God. So work with your inner being and help you to actually solve the problem in a graceful way. So when we pray, we'll be casting out demons, and you are a demon. Honestly, I used to pray. I used to say, God, I bind and cast out 11 years ago, until I actually realized, I was like, it's me that needs to sort me out.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it with the gratitude, Yeah. Very important, easy task, but like as well, yes, to be grateful as well for the partner or the little things they do for us,
Yeah.
And sometimes as well, we don't understand the love language of our partner. And there's a great book, it's called The 5 Love Languages, just like, because sometimes as well what we expect, they might not show us the way they love us back, but they do it in a different way. So it could be as well in regards to buying us gifts or doing things for us, saying obviously as well words, or spending quality time together as well, So these are all ways, or they call them love languages as well, to understand what is our partner, what type of, and then it's as well, it makes it easy as well to understand, whereby before we might have started to criticize them as well, why don't you give me this and this and this, but they just do it in a different way, to show us how much they care and love us.
Yeah. So, Claudia, before we leave, would you like to tell our audience who you are and where they can find you, please?
Sure. I'm Claudia Prischer. I'm an intuitive energy healer and a mindset coach. And yes, I love everything in regards to when we always experience sometimes the same things over and over again. And obviously, as the world outside is a mirror, it means always, it comes always back to us. So where in us is the cause or the root or the belief or the program where we actually have this running inside of us, so that we attract this in the outside world. So yeah, I love to identify the root cause of the issue of the program so that it can be actually changed into something new and a bit more empowering and more positive. And you can find me actually within you in the group, right? Yeah. Or as well, Shine Your Brilliance is as well my website. Absolutely. Because I believe that we are all like diamonds, and we are, and we just need to polished again so that we can shine again underneath all those clouds and everything what has covered us all those years. But deep inside, we are all diamonds.
Yeah, that is so true, Claudia. That is so true. And please, if you want to connect with Claudia, please do connect with her on her social media. And just if you want some coaching, you can connect with Claudia. If you can't connect with her, and please just get in touch with me. I'll connect you with Claudia. For me, before we leave, I'm just going to leave you with the 4 types of conflict in a relationship, which is physically, emotionally, financial, and communications. So as long as you understand these types, how they can bring how can they play a big part of and have a negative impact in your relationship, then you can have the strategy of how to maintain physically conflict, and also how you can actually stop the distraction, because some of them can bring the distraction in your relationship, and some of them can bring, when you feel emotionally angry, that can actually bring the damage. It can cause damage in a relationship, and so you have to have a strategy of finances. When you enter a relationship, have a strategy of how you're going to deal with finances. People have different things how they deal with when it comes to finances. When it comes to emotions, you have to work on your emotions, make sure that your mindset is in the right place, and all these things are very, very important. And making sure that you communicate your want, your desires as well is very, very, very important when you are dating someone, or even at work. Communication is very, very important to maintain that relationship, and also understanding that we are all wounded, and we are all people that we are different. The people that we've dated in the past, that will be different to the people that we are dating in the present moment. And also not comparing our boyfriends. There are some people, when you look at them, you look at the pictures of their exes, they're dating people that are similar because they've not dealt with the past. So deal with the past before you enter another relationship, and deal with you. Have a relationship with you. If you can get along with you, trust me, you can get along with anyone. If Nomsa can get along with Nomsa, I can get along with anybody else. So that's very, very, very important to understand who you are, what you want in that relationship, where you need to be, without competing with friends, without chatting to your girlfriends, and start evaluating your relationship, thinking your friends' relationships are better than yours. We are all going in this journey on earth in a different way. Our friends, they have their own different path. We have our own different path. And it is okay if our relationship is not the same, like for our girlfriends, if they travel around the world and we are not traveling, it is okay. It's not wrong. It doesn't mean that our spouse have to work 20 jobs for us to have that life of competition. It is okay to live the life that God has given you, because when you live that life, there will be a room of improvement. There will be a room of you wanting to grow. But if you're comparing your relationship with somebody else, there can't be a room to grow. There will be room for disaster. Over to you, Claudia. Any words of encouragement?
Yes, as well what you just said, because in the end as well, it is us. We have a relationship. It's a lifelong romance with ourselves, and we have to be with us as well, like 24/7, right? So yeah, absolutely. So be true to yourself, and know your value, know your worth as well, and know what it is you want as well. So rather than what we don't want, don't do that, because then you just get more of what you don't want. Change it around in what is it you really want as well in the relationship.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And I'm not sure what timing we are here during the holidays. I think I'm just going to be working around. Carol Anne hasn't replied to me. We might be here tomorrow, 1 o'clock. So I'm not sure. So I'll put the message later, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. And live with grace, everyone. Get in touch with us at Nkosi Talk Shows, or if you want to get in touch through Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency, please do. And if you're looking for love during the holidays times, I'm here for you guys. So feel free to get in touch. God bless and live with grace.